Does the NAR settlement still have you shook and you're wondering, how am I going to explain this to a buyer? How do I present it to them? How do I get a contract signed? I'm making this video today to help a lot of you realtors who don't have any direction out there. Maybe your broker isn't helping you. Maybe you're not a part of a coaching or training platform yet, and you don't really have the common sense answers and strategies to help you navigate this NAR settlement. I'm here to give you some free game like I've been giving you for the last 11 years here on YouTube and social media and podcasts. So let's talk about the NAR settlement and what you can do as an agent to explain it to buyers and present it in a way that's acceptable and that they will readily accept and not just outwardly reject because they're scared or whatever it is, right? Right now, we're in a crisis. Agents are scared. Agents are breaking the rules without even realizing it. Agents are unprepared, and just overall, our industry is lacking a tremendous amount of skill and proficiency. That's just the way it is, and you're gonna have to go out of your way to earn those things and develop them. It's not just gonna fall into your lap. So when you're dealing with a buyer, understand that now, post-NAR settlement agreement, now as a real estate agent, in order for you to even link up with a buyer and look at a home, you have to have an agreement signed stating that you are representing that buyer. There may be little nuanced details state to state that are different. I know a state, I believe Colorado, rejected it and they're not going to conform with it. So there may be some odds and outs, but for 90-95% of people watching this video, it's probably going to apply what I'm talking to about them and their location specifically, okay? So first things first. Let's say you're out there talking to a seller who's going to buy or a buyer who's going to buy. You need to first set the precedent and say this. The precedence is this, and you say, look, Mr. Buyer, hey, I know you're excited about buying a house. Look, are you aware of kind of what happened in this whole NAR settlement issue and lawsuit that we had going on in real estate that fully came into effect August 17th, 2024? Now, 99% of people are going to tell you no. Okay. Now, let's say they do say yes. Say, great. Tell me what you understood from it, or tell me what conclusion you came to based on that information. And then shut up and listen, okay? Because you want to find out what they think they know about the settlement. That way you can help squash any misinformation or mix-ups or misunderstandings that they have about it. Because if you just assume that they know and you think they're going to follow suit, that's incorrect. You need to verify all the information that they have. Why? It's no different than when you're dealing with a buyer or a seller out in the public who thinks they know something about the process when they really don't. So make sure that you confirm. Now, most people are going to say no. And when they say no, say great. So one of the first things we need to do before we begin our relationship together in this process of buying and selling a home is going to be for us to meet and get together and not only cover this whole process, but also go through all the details of the settlement. That way you know and you're fully prepared once we officially get going and start looking at homes, what you can expect, how long the process is going to take, and what this thing is going to look like from beginning to end. Cool? So when are you available to get together? Something like that. You can change that verbiage, right? It doesn't have to be exactly like what I said, but you basically have to say, hey, in a nutshell, what I said was, hey, before we even start anything, we need to meet to discuss this and take a look at this whole process from A to Z. Because if you want to set that up, one of the easiest ways to set up that statement that I just said is you ask a buyer, a potential buyer, you say, Mr. Buyer, has anybody sat down and explained the process to you from A to Z, the home buying process, like in its entirety, A to Z? I've never had anybody tell me yes in my whole career of 11 years. Same thing with my team member. I have over 200 people on my nationwide team. That question has never been answered yes. So once they say no to that, it's going to be automatic for you to say great, and then you set up the meeting. Now, before we get into the meeting and all that, if you guys are talking to buyers and people out there who refuse to meet with you, whether that be Zoom, whether that be in person, understand that that's not a serious buyer who's moving and operating from good faith. This is one of the positives that came out of this, because now you have to do these meetings and what I call a formal buyer consultation, which I've been doing for 11 years in my career and that I've recommended people do since the beginning, right? Is now people who are just flat out unwilling to meet with you, they're not serious, or they're people who are hardcore rebels who want to do things their way. And that's fine, let them go. Let me tell you, that will be the biggest blessing for you as a real estate agent. Let those people go. If they're not willing to understand that you're the professional and that you're going to guide the process and they want to, try to do this thing on their own and do it their way, that's a recipe for heartache and disaster. How could somebody who's never bought a home before and doesn't know the process lead you and tell you how to do it? It makes no sense. Now, I get it. Some people just naturally, their personality type is more like that. And beyond just the personality type, they're really going to want to take control. Now, I'm unwilling to work with those types of individuals because I've tried it in the past and it never got anywhere, right? I want somebody who's willing and able to sit down with me, take a look at the process, and that again is approaching this whole thing in good faith. Not 100% skeptical, not automatically thinking that I'm going to burn them or someone's going to screw them over, not willing to listen to me, not willing to meet with me, not willing to abide by the process, right? And I want to make this point because many of you are trying to force relationships with people who, number one, again, just their way of being, how they conduct themselves is not conducive to a good professional working relationship, which you need to turn them away. It's okay to tell people no, right? But number two, we are so scared as agents because again, and like I said in the beginning of the video, many of you have not gotten coaching and training and you need to, right? You don't know. You're unsure if somebody gives you a question or you're not confident in this process. So you don't really push them like gently to meet with you and you don't confidently take control of the situation, which is really what this is. You need to take full control and be in full confidence doing this stuff because people are putting their trust into you. And if you don't trust yourself and then you don't have anybody to help you, what are you doing? Because a lot of this in this whole NAR settlement thing is the game that happens before you even get with them, before you even set up that meeting. What does those first couple dialogues look like? How are you setting it up? Are you fully confident? Are you letting them know, hey, I'm that person. I know what I'm talking about. We're going to meet. We're going to go over the whole thing. I'm going to find out your wants and needs. We're going to hash this thing out. I'm going to show you A to Z, how long this process is going to take and what it's going to look like. And then we're off to the races and we're ready to go. It's up to you to set up that consultation. It's up to you to connect them with a good lender and make sure that they're pre-qualified before you ever set up a showing and they step into a home. It's up to you to explain why you do that because that's a part of this thing too. Like, let's get into the dialogue aspect of it. Mr. Buyer and seller, do you know why I had you get qualified and speak with the lender before we even started this whole process of looking for homes? Well, for many reasons. Number one, we need to have proof that you're a ready, willing, and able buyer before we schedule showings. Did you know that? Because let's say I'm representing you in the sale of your house, and when we meet and we agree, one of those parts of the agreement is anybody who comes to look at the home with their agent, that buyer, prospective buyer, is already qualified and willing and able to purchase your house. You want to know that, right? And that's the only type of buyer that I would want to bring to your house and the only buyer that I would bring to your house. I don't want to just bring anybody, right? We want to bring qualified, motivated buyers, correct? Cool. So just like you would want that, sellers want that. And it's a requirement. Number two, if we don't know what your purchasing power is as a buyer, are we really shopping for a home or are we just looking around? How devastating would it be, Mr. Buyer? I show you a home, you love it, and then when we get pre-approved, after you find out that you love it and we go through the whole process, you find out you don't qualify for that house. Now, why am I giving you this scenario, Mr. Buyer or Mr. and Mrs. Buyer? Because I've gone through it myself and I've made this mistake. So through my time in the business and experience, I've devised a process that's seamless for both you and me and that ensures that we get you a home on good terms at the right price and in a timely fashion. Is that type of experience what you're looking for? Who's going to say no to that, right? But again, we have to lay down the groundwork. And many of you, you don't have the skill set, you don't have the confidence, you don't have the dialogues. That's just one of a million dialogues that I could teach you as an example on how to work this. So you go with the flow or you're just going to figure it out, right? And that's what leads to people failing in the business and not doing well. I know agents right now, because they don't understand this, the only tweak they've made, and this is just catastrophic, they'll set up a showing with the buyer just like they used to, and they'll just email them the agreement for them to sign before the showing. And then they wonder why buyers are flaking or not responding. Are you kidding? Are you kidding me? That's the only adjustment you made. You just email them the agreement. Hey, sign this before we meet. Like, that is not professional. That's not a professional process. That's somebody who's lazy or just who doesn't know better. But But that's not the way to do it, y'all. And some of you agents probably watching this video, you're showing homes to buyers and conducting your business and not getting that stuff signed. So you're in violation, which is crazy. Because again, people refuse to develop the skill set, get the coaching and training and help that they need to have buyer processes, seller processes, investor processes. It's insane, right? So we have the setting up of it, then we have the actual meeting. Remember, before you meet with somebody, you link them up with your lender live on the phone, or you immediately connect them. That way, by the time you sit down and you start your consultation with them, they already have a number that they're approved or it's imminent. Meaning it's about to happen that moment when you sit down with them and your lender calls you, hey, they're qualified for $500,000. Great. Because when you do a consultation, at the end of the consultation, you start selecting homes for them to look at. If you're doing a consultation with somebody who's not pre-qualified yet, how are you going to be able to pick homes for them? It goes back to that dialogue that I gave you earlier. If you have a buyer who doesn't understand, oh no, we don't want to get qualified yet. I say, look, I get it, right? I get it. You guys want to find the house and great. Now, understand, again, no one explained to you the process from A to Z, right? Great. Well, there's many steps in that process. And one of the first parts of that process is to make sure that we understand what your purchasing power is. Now, if we skip that step and look at a home, what are we really looking at, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer? Because there's what you like and what you potentially will love, but there's also what you're going to qualify for, right? So we need to make sure that we are looking within your means. If we qualify for $400,000, we're looking at $1 million homes. Are we getting anywhere? Now that's cool to plan for the future, but again, you guys are only going to qualify for 400, so we need to make sure that we're looking at something that fits within your budget and that's realistic based on the financial, accuracy, right? On what our purchasing power is as a buyer, correct? So we need to make sure that we have that stuff in place. That way, once we sit down and start picking out homes, we know that we're picking homes that you legitimately qualify for and that you could actually purchase if you end up liking them. Does that make sense? And again, like I told you guys earlier, if you have people who are unwilling to do this, drop them. I get it. You may be newer. You may be hungry for a commission check. I understand. But the person who doesn't comply with basic logic and process is not a buyer. That's the biggest piece of advice. Because again, if you come in through my school and my teaching and my coaching, I'm going to turn you into a listing agent. But you still have to know how to work with buyers. Because either the agents that you hire later are going to work your buyers or your sellers are going to turn into buyers. So you need to know the process anyway. But this consultation is key. Because if we're just going to give an overview, right? Let's say we're sitting at the consultation with somebody. I'll say, look, this changed the landscape of real estate, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer. Do you know why? Before, I could just do whatever as an agent. You could call me. I could meet you at a home. We could run our business however we wanted. What this settlement did was it forced us to have a process and have certain measures in place when we deal with buyers like yourself. Are you following me so far? Great. So now as an example, we can't just show you a home and randomly meet up with you. We need to meet with you. We need to have some sort of agreement signed between us stating agency relationship. I'm your agent, you're my buyer, before we even start this process. And this was done supposedly as a formality in protection of the consumer. So we can't skip that step now. Meaning we're going to have to meet, we're going to have to agree on the scope of our relationship, how long it's going to be and what the terms are. Then we go out and we look at homes and we find you and locate you the perfect home. Cool? That's going to have to be done. Now, whether you do that with me or another agent, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, that's up to you. But that's going to have to be done. There's no way around it. If I was to get with you and show you a home and conduct our relationship without a written agreement, I am now breaking the law and I'm in violation of the NAR Code of Ethics. I cannot do that. No agent can do that. So if you call an agent and you say, hey, let me meet you at the house, and they meet you, they are breaking the law. And so are you technically, now that you know. Did you know that? Were you aware of that? They're going to say no. Say, great, this is why we need to make sure that all these formalities are in place and that we conduct ourselves accordingly based on the scope of the law. Does that make sense? Right? Now, I'm giving you a few quick little dialogues, but the overall structure of this video is you need to have some sort of process. And again, y'all need to get this from your coach or whoever's teaching you. And if you don't have a coach, get one right now, during or right after this video. You have to. Because then you have a process that you can get in, like I've been using for 11 years now, to help you with these buyers, set up the consultation, have your scripts, and have everything that you need to do and know in order to get the contract signed, show the home, and sell it, whether that's with the listing, an investor, or a buyer. Because this is just the beginning, y'all. Stuff is going to start changing rapidly, right? This change for someone like me and my team and the people that I work with is just another bump in the road. But for some of you, if you're watching this and this is like a monumental change, that just goes to show how low the bar is. If you're prepared and coached and trained and you're a badass up here, all these changes are down here. But if you're not, all these things are a huge shock to you. So you need to level up and get better. Then, regardless of what's happening in the market and all these changes, it's business as usual for you. That's the point and the level that you want to get to where all this stuff is just business as usual. I make a tweak, business as usual. Small change, business, because that's what we did. I've already been doing this, getting contract signs with buyers. I've been doing that since I was a rookie, and I teach that to people. And we've been doing that for a long time. Myself, my team, my coaching members, everybody. And most people aren't, unfortunately. Now, you have to do it. So it's not, well, I'll learn it later. You have to learn it now. So you need to make sure that you're developing these dialogues, implementing these processes in your business to ensure that not only you're educating and leading and guiding your clients correctly, but that you're also in compliance as a realtor. It's very easy to slip up. And believe me, most of you, without me even knowing anything about you, you're in violation on your social media or some way. Meaning if they want to come after you, they're going to find some dirt on you. Why? They could find it on everybody. I've had people point out stuff to the board about my social media, like, oh, he forgot this one little detail, or the hashtag was in the wrong place. Like, you have no idea, guys, how easy it would be if somebody wanted to, get your license suspended or go after you, that they could, because it's so easy to be out of compliance, whether it's something big like this or something innocent, like, a social media post missing a number, or you forgot to put this, the zip code of your office. It is just ridiculous, because I've had haters try to point that stuff out to me, and the board actually try to come down and crack down on me over a formality like that I know 99% of the industry is in violation of. They just happen to point me out because some haters were like, oh no, you need to look at Bryan's stuff, he's in violation, right? So make sure that you protect yourself, and make sure that not only you protect yourself legally and you protect your license, but you're also doing right by your clients and you're following a formal process. Because what you'll notice is buyers, when you have a process like this, they're going to feel more confident in you, and the ones that are coming and approaching this home buying process from a position of good faith will want to work with somebody like you, because you have a process and they feel and know that they can trust you because you're a professional. You're a bona fide professional, and that's what you need to do, okay? I may do some more videos on this stuff explaining more specific situations. If you guys want, go ahead. I've also linked in the cards and at the end of this video the buyer consultation role play that I did with Tanner, one of my newer agents. That's 25 minutes long, where we go more deep into the dialogues. I recommend you watch that. Anything else I can help you with, let me know. In the description below, you'll find a couple links. I do one-on-one Zoom consultations now that are available on my website for purchase. I have courses. I do multiple levels of coaching, which you can check out as well. Anything that I can do, let me know. Leave a thumbs up, leave me a comment, and we'll see you on the next video. All right, peace.